You're in school, it's raining and you can't go outside for recess, or your teacher is just sick and tired of you and doesn't want to teach anymore. Which is probably, let's be real, that's probably the real answer. You troublemakers, you whippersnappers. And so your teacher, they roll out this beauty. Only 90s kids remember, right? I hate myself. Rolls out this beauty. And what do you find? What will you learn today? Who is going to teach you? It's not Bill Nye. It's Dr. No. Hello, my name is mattress.jpg. I make videos about spooky shit. No, I make videos about internet horror, analog horror, digital horror, creepypasta, internet urban legends, all that stuff. I'm holding this microphone in my hand. We're trying something new. This is my old mic. If you've been around since I used this mic, you're entitled to a senior discount at the Target, I guess. Does Target do senior discounts? I don't know. I live too rurally for Target. I don't get Target. But I had someone in my last video say the echo was bothering them, and Diva, I respect you. It's pretty bad because I like to set it more with my pulpit. This is for the new ones, this is a authentic Southern Baptist pulpit that I purchased on Facebook Marketplace. And it's great because I can stand and like move, and that's very good for me. I think that I am genuinely giving you better content because I can physically move around. And the problem is though, for me to have my background that I like, I am now facing this entire very long room that I am in, so the echo is just crazy. Whereas I used to sit at on my pew, and it faced just a little wall, so the echo wasn't as bad. So this is a really crummy lapel mic that I have, and when I actually like pinned it to myself, it wasn't as good, but it seemed okay. We'll see. Congrats to me and thanks to you. I just reached monetization status, so I am going to try to save up for like a good lav mic probably, because I like this setup. And then if I ever am like, I don't know, my content doesn't really require going out in the world and talking to real people, but if it ever did, it'd be good to have a lav mic. So, you know, ever improving over here on twitch.jpg. But oh my god, most of you clicked on this and probably don't even give a crap who I am. What are we talking about today? We're talking about Dr. Nowhere's venture into education. I thought he was a medical doctor. I thought it was Nowhere MD. I think he's a PhD though. I think he's a professor. He's teaching us. So if you are not familiar with Dr. Nowhere is an internet horror creator, illustrator, animator who is really having a moment right now, and I love that for him. I first started seeing his stuff like maybe late last year, just like on Twitter, really loved the look, and then he started making little animations, and his video, The Boiled One Phenomenon, is what just blew him up and catapulted him into internet horror fame. And I'm so thrilled about it. I love to see it. This is a creator that every time he does something, I'm probably gonna make a video. I'll be frank with you, I don't really have analysis today. I just want to talk about how much I liked his latest video, because this is a creator that I'm going to champion forever and ever and ever. I just cannot get over how delightful Dr. Nowhere's work is. It just makes me so happy. And I really want him to not just be defined by the boiled one. I think that's absolutely like his big guy. There's even a markable plushie, I think still available for purchase, I'm not sure. You bet your ass I bought one way back. But I want to highlight his other work. And he just came out with a new video called the Oddity Compendium Installation 1. Installation 1? Yeah, Installation 1. And I just want to shout this out and tell you to go watch it. If you've already watched it, let's just talk about it because it's cool. And I think this is a genius format for Dr. Nowhere. The thing that I've championed about Dr. Nowhere from the get-go If you go back to my original Dr. Nowhere video, this person knows how to build a world. The world's building within the universe of Dr. Nowhere is, I would say, without a doubt, the best in any internet horror. I think that if you don't have convincing world building, your series or your work, it's hard to still cling to it. I think some of the greats in internet horror, like Martin Pedreas with the Walton Files, I think Martin does great world building, but it is a very small world. It is a very insular world. Same with, I would say, like the Mandela Catalog. I think Mandela County is very realized, but I don't know what the hell's going on in the rest of the world. Well, Gabriel is of these poor people in Wisconsin. I'm from the Midwest. We deserve it, I promise. Whereas Dr. Nowhere, the entire universe, everything makes sense to me. Like every single little extra thing or character or scenario that he presents makes sense with everything else. And it's because it's so insane. I think that there needs to be more just goofiness in internet horror, because like Dr. Nowhere stuff is still very like unsettling and uncomfortable, but it's goofy as hell in the best way possible. When I say goofy, and I'm gonna say it so many times in this video, I mean that as like the utmost compliment. Like, oh, I love a good goofy thing. So I'm just gonna go through the 3, perhaps 4 parts of this first installation of the Oddity Compendium. But essentially what this is it is like a informational, educational video about 3, maybe 4 oddities, and just teaching you the basics about them. So it really does feel, that's why I did the little bit at the beginning, you know, rolling in the old TV. Please comment below how many of you still have the TV with the VHS player when you were in elementary school, because I think I was the last of that. And I think a lot of you are probably younger than me, because I'm almost 30. So I'm just, let me know, I'm curious. I love that. I love just, you know, I think analog horror, and I know Dr. Nowhere said he doesn't consider this analog horror. I'm sorry, Dr. Nowhere, you're probably not watching this, but I'm just probably gonna accidentally slip into saying analog horror because it's a buzzword. Internet horror, digital horror, whatever. You know, it's very easy to fall on tropes and have it feel overplayed and overdone. Dr. Nowhere is really good at snatching up tropes and just making it work and almost like making fun of it a little bit. I think that the Boiled One phenomenon did a really good job of hitting like every internet horror trope you could think of, but still making it fresh and new. But I do think that like the educational tape, in the sense of it's like not like a PSA, but it's more like a, wow, learn this new thing, is not as utilized as it could be. Gemini Home Entertainment is probably one of the more successful ones that I think of with that, but it's not something we see all the time, so I think that was smart. Genius thing about this setup is he can just make these over and over and over again until he gets sick of them. He could go and make these for 20 years, because if you just think of another random thing, you can make another Oddity Compendium. So I think that's genius. I think it is a perfect way for him to introduce new characters and honestly see what works. Like maybe one of these characters, spoiler alert, I think it's the 4th one in this case, gets really popular. He can go make a whole series about that one character. It's like a great testing ground for characters, which I think is really smart. So the video starts off with, I'm not sure who this character is. I don't know if it is Dr. Nowhere himself. I've seen him before. I thought Dr. Nowhere was the character. I mean, Dr. Nowhere is the creator, Silas Orion. He is just a guy. But the character Dr. Nowhere I thought was the very tall, kind of hat man looking figure. So if you know, because I know there are people that know more about Dr. Nowhere than I do at this point, tell me, please. Thank you.
My mic died and I came back with a cat. Those of you who have been watching lately may know Walter, my orange cat. This is his sister, Eileen. Yes, they are named after Walter and Eileen from Silent Hill 4. It was the best movie.
Aren't you cute? Didn't you get your food medicine? Didn't you get your food? Yes. No foods for the celery. So, the first section of this video talks about a humanoid parasite called the mattress folk, or flesh beds, I think is the formal term. Mattress people or mattress parasite. And I love this. I think this is a great example of just how like simultaneously goofy but also like freaky Dr. Nowhere's work is. Essentially, these things are parasites that look like normal mattresses. They like are in like hibernation until it reaches above 70 degrees in your house, and then they will just like slowly digest you. And you know, again, I'm not gonna go through every segment of these. I'm just kind of talking about them because I like them. I don't even really have any analysis here. This is almost a pointless video. I just want to gas up Dr. Nowhere whenever I can. Isn't that right, Eileen? You know what I need to say? Anything at all? Oh. Oh! Okay, she bit the microphone. There's a lot of fun touches to this. The DNA of Napoleon been found in the mattress folk. They think that that's when they first came about. It's just a really fun little segment. This one wasn't my personal favorite of the three, but I really enjoyed it, and I think the visuals are super cool. There's some really subtle animations that I think just make it. I also really like the photo of the victim. I think the way that they blacked out her face, the way that pretty much all of the humans, like normal humans, shown in photos in this series are represented by just like shadow figures. I think it's interesting because it makes you focus more on the Oddity. So I don't have that much to say about the mattress folk. I think they're neat. Oddity 2 is the most confusing one to me. It is I need to look to say this correctly, Headless macrocosm. A macrocosm is, I have to read this straight, I'm not smart enough. A macrocosm is the whole of a complex structure, especially the world or the universe, contrasted with a small or representative part of it. Essentially, a macrocosm is like, big, the universe, existential, This one is classified as a pseudo-location or disease, and that is because it's like an alternate universe, essentially. And this is like an alternate universe full of tall corpses that have no heads, and they're technically dead, but they breathe through the holes in their necks. Their hearts are like beating, so they don't really move a lot, they don't really do anything. They just breathe through their neck holes. Yay! But there are some people that live in this dimension, and they're struggling. It's very not easy for them. It's really cold, so they can only go and gather food during the summer months. And this is one where what I said earlier, like this could be a whole series. There's like, this is a whole other world off of the Dr. Nowhere normal universe that you could make an entire series about, which I think is really cool. This one, it is a little confusing to me. I get a little confused with the parallel universe things, but essentially the big thing that happens is there's a guy, one of the humans in the Headless macrocosm, that approaches one of the headless corpses, and he just plucks his head right off and puts it on because he's trying to become him. So this man was named Michael Tedford. When the creature put Michael's head on its body, it like transported it back to the normal realm, is my understanding. I've watched this twice and I'm still, and you know, he just showed up in some people's backyards and they called the police and they were like, there's a naked guy with a rotting head in our yard, please help. The thing that I find most fascinating about this segment is it's dealing with, once you go to this headless macrocosm, you cease to exist. So like Michael Tedford doesn't exist anymore. And I think because one of the humans in the Headless macrocosm interacted with one of the corpse creatures from the Headless macrocosm. It caused that corpse creature and part of Michael to return to like our universe and caused like a weird anomaly, because technically Michael disappearing into the Headless macrocosm made him cease to exist. Like, all of the things within the Headless macrocosm suffer from the disease of not existing, so by him coming back, it like caused a weird anomalous mess. And I love, one of my favorite parts of this video is that whenever Michael's name is mentioned, the video like glitches out because he's not supposed to exist anymore, so like it's not a stable concept, both his image and his, even just saying his name. I just think that's a really fun touch. I thought there was like secret things because that's when it like glitches the most, so I was doing my frame by frame, but it's literally just glitching out because the mere attempt to say his name doesn't really work, which I think is really cool. I really like that. I think as confusing as this one is to me, I would really like to see more of it, and I like the idea that non-existence is a disease. I really like that. Okay. And then the third one is probably my favorite of the main three anomalies. We'll get to number 4 when we get there. Dr. Norman posted some artwork that ended up being for this segment, and I was super curious to see what it was going to be for, and I was excited to see it executed. Okay, so the third oddity is the Obelisks of Enlightenment, and they're categorized as an enigmatic divinity, which that immediately I was like, divinity? Religion? Worship? We know I love that. No, I love it. Anyway, these guys are essentially giant obelisks that appear at various different locations. They're in Egypt, they're on the moon, they're on the Bermuda Triangle, and they like hover slightly above the ground, and they move like a few inches a year. They're not moving a lot, but they worship knowledge. They have gained complete enlightenment beyond normal human ability, and any human that approaches them, either their head explodes because they can't handle the enlightenment, or if they can handle the enlightenment, they get sucked right up and become part of the obelisk. So do not approach unless you want to get your head blown off, or you want to become part of the obelisk. We all know my head would get blown right off. I'm not capable of thinking like that. I had to Google macrocosm. If you have to Google macrocosm, you're not ready for the obelisks of enlightenment. That's what I always say. And I like this because this one refers to general, just like folklore existing of these things. So that means that like they've been around. We know they've run around. And I like that with a lot of these different things that, like, you know, the mattress folk, you can trace them back to Napoleon's time. You know, this goes all the way back to Egyptian times. It says at one point that like there were giant humanoid people in ancient Egypt that created the obelisks to attain more knowledge because they were pissed that humans were stupid. What has changed? And I really liked this. These like ancient Egyptian type drawings were the ones that I had seen Dr. Norman post like on Instagram, and I was like, what is he doing with this? It's like, where is this going? So I thought this was really cool. And things like this make this entire like video feel more like an educational tape. Like it feels like something that your teacher would show you in world history or something, which I think is, I don't know, it just makes it a more complete package. So I think of the three, this one is my favorite just because I like, you know me, I'm an esoteric bitch who loves anything that's slightly religious. And at this point, I love the idea that they're literally worshiping the concept of knowledge. That's a real, if I ever saw one. Now we got a bonus oddity. Dr. Norman has gifted us the bonus oddity. And can't you imagine the children? They think their delightful little educational tape is about to end and they have to go learn math or some dumb shit. But no, there's a bonus oddity. You're saved. You don't have to listen to your teacher. Kids, listen to your teachers, please. If any of you watching this have professors, teachers, love them and cherish them. They're trying so hard. Anyway, I'm your teacher right now, and we're gonna look at the bonus oddity, which is Filus. Oh, what is Filus? In Filus we trust, okay? Filus is, God, I'm gonna keep it real. I love Filus. Like, Filbus is probably my new favorite Dr. Nowhere Gorbo. I love the boiled one. I love the locust. They're all great. They're all good. I love soap is great, but God, Filus, come on. Filus is an unknown political candidate figure who advocates for the creation and consumption of chairs. Yeah. And he is the leading figure within Filbism, which doesn't exist, but if you ask me, I'm talking about Filbus. I'm looking at Filbus. I think Filbus exists, and I just love this segment. I think it's so funny. The whole idea of like, it speaks to like how weird political ideology is in a really like non-controversial and I don't know. It makes me laugh about our current political situation without making me feel that bad, which is refreshing, and I appreciate that. This is such a goofy little segment because it shows like internet boards where they're talking about spreading Filbism, and the entire act of like talking about Filbus means you are endorsing Filbus, and Filbism, which is like really, it's like a really smart parody of our current political climate, and it's not quite hitting me until I'm sitting here talking about it, how smart it is. So for a teenager to make better and less upsetting political commentary than like, I don't know, Saturday Night Live, that's where we're at. You know, in Filbus we trust. I can't wait until Filbus gets on the dollar bill of George Washington. I want Filbus on the dollar bill. Overall, I love this video. Just the little things. The fact that like the narrator will say the most out-of-pocket shit and then there's a laugh track.
Arms fully emerge and pull the sleeping host into its body, where prey is slowly digested.
Genius. Love it. Live for it. I said it in my boiled one video. I love the little like figures, like the little figures in like in the boiled one it was more like in instructional depictions, but in this like showing the people seeing the weird headless corpse with Michael Tedford's head on his body and things like that. I really like, my favorite one is the little graphic of like how tall a person is next to the Obelisk of Enlightenment, and I love the simplified obelisk. Like I just think they're neat, they're cute. I said this last week in my video about Joaquin Bonk's Polished Mercury. There is not enough creative typography in internet horror. Dr. Nowhere has some creative typography. There was some like MS Paint-ass shit, like 3D word art at the beginning. I lived, because that's the type of stuff you would see in these like made for elementary school instructional videos. So the last thing I have, to say is please keep supporting Dr. Nowhere. There's a lot more to him and his art than the boiled one. We love Fen228. We stan him. I bought the little damn plushie because he's cute as hell. But the thing that I think is so important about supporting this creator is he has so much, potential, and I think supporting things like this as well will ensure that we keep getting really cool and original stuff. And I really think that we are at a super interesting and cool moment in internet horror right now, because we have creators like this and Joaquin Bonk and the McKinney Family Home videos. Like, it's all very different, but it's restoring my faith, I will say, in internet horror a little bit, when there's a lot of people saying, internet horror is dead, internet horror is dead, whatever. It's not. It's just morphing and changing. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate all the support. Like I said, I hit 1,000 subscribers with the Joaquin Bonk video. I seriously cannot thank you guys enough for watching me and supporting me. This is so much fun. I really enjoy doing this, especially that I've received the most love lately on these analog horror videos, because that's what I love doing, and it's positive and nice. And For a while, I got in this slump of like, I need to make the survival horror videos because they get views, but they're so toxic and weird, and Analog Horror is such a welcoming and nice community, and I appreciate y'all for that. I do want to thank, I have 2 members as of recording this video. I do have my 2 memberships open. So I have 2 survival horror emos, and they are Erob and Odini. Thank you so much for your support. If you would like to check out my memberships, just head over to my channel page. But thank you so much. Please go. I'm sure anyone watching this has already followed Dr. Nowhere. I'm not like, he's not some indie creator. But please go watch this and just support the hell out of the Oddities Compendium, just because I want him to keep creating content like this. And the last thing I have to say is, in Filus, we trust. You know, Filus, buddy, it's not a good mouthful. That's that's all I'll say. But you know, he's probably still the best choice. So I guess Filus we trust. Thank you for watching. Don't eat your chairs. That was not a fun experience. But you can make one. That's what I say. Anyone who wants to support Filus, go buy some wood glue. Don't buy the chair. And yes, I have a tiny chair. Do you not have a tiny chair? Don't I look like someone that I own a pulpit? You gotta own a tiny chair before you own a pulpit. And no, I don't have kids. I just got cats. They won't sit in the chair. I try to give it to them. But anyway, thank you for watching. Bye.